Hello friends, Merry Christmas to all of you. I think I'm safe at this point to just say Merry Christmas because I'm working on Christmas crafts. I am so grateful you stopped in today. We're going to be making some fun, fast Christmas crafts that will be easy for you to recreate. Now come along and let's make something beautiful for your home. I found this darling sign at the Dollar Tree and they had a whole bunch of different versions, but I loved this one, Believe in the Magic of Christmas. I am a big sucker for the magic of Christmas. We're going to dress it up so we can make it a little more high-end because it's cute as it is, but why stop there when we can make it even cuter? I cut off the pre-existing beaded twine and I'm going to add some wire. I feel like anytime we add wire to these handles, it instantly makes it look more high-end. So I'm going to take my wire, twist it around, lock it in place, add back on those beads, and then lock it back into place with the other hole. This already just upgrades these pieces from the Dollar Tree, and it looks so much nicer now. Next, we're going to embellish it because, again, it's cute, and we can end with this handle where it's a little bit of an upgrade, or we can take it a step further, which is always my favorite to do here in my craft room. I'm going to use this pick piece from Hobby Lobby that I picked up 50% off. I'm going to cut off some of these berry stems that have little leaves all over it. I thought this would be so cute. I'm going to add some hot glue and I'm basically just going to glue that right in the middle where the handle is at the top. I'm going to shift around some of those little berries so they lay nicely on there. And then I'm going to come in with a gingham bow that they have at the Dollar Tree. The best time of year to get gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree, honestly, is at Valentine's and Christmas. They have the best gingham ribbon there at those times of year. So I always just keep an eye out for it when I know those two holidays are coming around and I pick them up. I tied this darling simple bow. I trimmed down the tails because I want to be able to see the words. I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue, just the tiniest dot underneath these tails, and that's going to help keep the words from being blocked by the ribbon. Once that was glued in place, I'm going to use some of these frosted berry pieces from the Dollar Tree as well. They have so many good crafts, you guys. Definitely go to the Dollar Tree and check it out. And then I'm going to just pull off the wire and put that right in the center of the bow. Doesn't it look high-end now? Something you would see in a boutique. For this project, I'm going to be using some mini trees. You can get these from the Dollar Tree. They have them in green and white, all kinds of colors. Some of these wooden spools, you can use plastic ones if you're a seamstress. You can take off all the thread and use a plastic one as well. Some lace ribbon and some twine from the Dollar Tree. Now, I got my wooden spools from Hobby Lobby. I always buy them when they're on sale. And I am going to glue two of them together, making sure the glue is not spilling out because we want to keep this as clean and tidy as possible. I'm going to add some glue at the top, and I popped off the base of those Christmas trees because I want the wire to be fed down into the hole. This is really going to allow it to all lock in and look like one piece. Now for a taller one, I stacked up two. For a shorter one, I just used one. And I'm going to go ahead and pop the little trees in, let them dry. And now at this point, we can just dress them up however you want. You can make them as tall as you want, as short as you want, as big as you want with larger trees. The possibilities are endless and they are such a cute decor piece to use in your home. You can put these on a mantle, on a table, on a bookshelf, all over the place. I just love these tiny little trees. Now I'm going to dress them up a little bit more. I'm going to use some red and white twine. I'm going to just snip off the extra. And then I'm going to pop on some buttons because there's just something so fairy-like about these. I thought little buttons on it in the center of the bows and the lace would just be so perfect for the Christmas season. I hope you will give this one a try. For this DIY, it's super simple. We're going to take this piece of wood, some bells, and some fabric, and I'm going to start by painting the wood white. This is going to become a cute little house home decor piece. I'm going to then take a strip of that fabric, cut it down to the size that I want, and then on the ends I'm going to create a little dovetail, and I'm going to glue them down into place because I just like when they're glued down very lightly so that they don't flip and get kind of wonky over time. Then I'm going to take one of the bells, lace it onto a piece of twine, bring that underneath the knot, and then simply tie it right in the center of that knot. This is the cutest thing to give to a loved one. If you have a little goodie treat basket that you're taking someone and you just want to give them something for Christmas, these are so easy to make if you like doing a little homemade gift to give people. And then I just put this little twine bow in the middle of it. And for a great substitute, if you don't have a Cricut or a Silhouette, a cutting machine, these rub-ons from the Dollar Tree are so fantastic. You just simply cut out the letters that you need, peel off the little white paper on the back, rub them down, lift up the little clear piece of plastic on the front, and then you have the cutest little custom sign. So easy to make, so quick. And what a great way to make a home decor piece. And then I just sanded the sides just a little bit to add some texture and some depth. For this DIY, we're going to be using 3 of these wood rounds, and this is kind of a 3-for-1 on this project. You honestly could make as many of these as you want. I picked up this box of wood rounds from Artesia. I'm going to link it down below in my description box if you're looking for some of these. But what I did was I started with painting white circles in the middle of each one, and then once they were dry, I went ahead and came in with my pencil and I just sketched on 3 different words as well as a little green vine on each of them. I like to do this first with my pencil instead of just going at it with paint because it is so easy to make a mistake and then have to start over. It's so frustrating. So I always like to go in with my pencil first. I always keep one in my craft room for measuring or whatever, or handwriting. And then I'm just now going to come in with my black paint and I'm going to take my time. This is obviously sped up for TV, but I like to take my time when I'm painting these. And then I'm going to come back in with my green and simply paint on a vine, and I've got a beautiful set of 3 ornaments. And to finish it off, I added some twine and a cute bow up at the top to hang up on my tree. For this craft, we're going to be using these long dowel sticks from the Dollar Tree, 2 stars and 2 wood plaques. Now you don't have to do 2 of these, but I loved how they looked where one was taller than the other, so that's why I made 2. To get started, we're going to cut the twine out, patch those holes that were originally in the plaque and the stars, and then we're going to drill a hole in the center of the plaque and a hole at the bottom of the star. And you're going to want to make sure that the point is facing down. You can see that I lifted it up so I didn't drill through my desk because I do use my drill in my craft room. Once you've got those all drilled, and if you don't have a drill bit that's big enough, I don't either, I just drill around a little bit in a circle until I get the size that I need for the dowel. I like to use a wood glue and a hot glue combined for that long-term, short-term hold while it's drying. I just don't trust hot glue by itself forever, and I always like to make sure I add in some wood glue. Once that's all dry, go ahead and paint your base and your sticks or your dowels, whichever you want to call it. And
keep in mind that you're going to want one dowel to be shorter than the other, so I did cut that down a little bit. I forgot to show that, but you're going to see at the end that one is taller than the other. Now you're going to decide what color you want your star to be painted. I'm going with red and white this year in my home, so I'm painting my star red. And then once everything was all painted and dried, I went ahead and took some sandpaper and just roughed up my star to give it that farmhouse distress look. I don't get too crazy with this part because I just like a little bit of distressing. I know it's not for everyone. Now for this next part, you're going to notice that the base has some text paper on it. Friends, I recorded it and for whatever reason it was out of focus. I'm so sorry, but how I did it was I took a piece of text paper from a book, I cut it down to size. I didn't make it perfectly shaped to that size, but I just cut like a nice piece of it, and then I cut a slit, shaked it and shimmied it around the little dowel, and then I just glued it all down. And once it was glued down in place, I took some sandpaper and sanded the edges until I got that shape that was perfectly the shape of the base, and then just glued it all into place. So here you're seeing me add on the moss on top of it because I just really love how this looks together with the text paper on it. You don't have to do the text paper or even the grass, but I just think it looks so cute all together. Very farmhouse, very chic. I don't know. And then now what I'm going to be doing is I'm taking these greenery twist Christmas tree, there's a name for them too. Friends, I'm so sorry. I'm the worst at names here on my channel. But I'm going to take it and give it a haircut because last year I realized when I was working with this and trying to make a tiny wreath that they were just too bushy. So I give it a little haircut, twist it into a wreath, add a cute bow, and then add some berries, and then they're ready to be displayed.
These cones are such a find. If you can get your hands on them, they're from the Dollar Tree. They're $1.25 for each one in their floral sections. Now I'm going to be using 2 of them, the larger and smaller, 3 long garland 15-foot strands that they also have at the Dollar Tree, and then also a berry garland that they have at the Dollar Tree. Now this project is so easy. You're going to take your garland, you're going to unwrap it from its coiled up circle, and you're going to just simply tie the first top piece at the top of your cone, and then you're going to start coiling it down. Now I like to add a little bit of hot glue here and there so I make sure everything stays nice and tight without slipping. And I do have a tip when you're doing this: don't wrap it so tight that you're going to run out of the length to get all the way to the bottom of your cone, because you want to make sure that you have enough to get all the way to the bottom. And the one strand works perfect on the smaller cone. On the larger cone, I would recommend using 2 strands just because I feel like it gives it a better coverage. You don't want it to look skimpy. I think that's when it starts looking kind of homemade, you know, a DIY fail, as a lot of people like to joke online about, is whenever it starts to look skimpy and you can see holes through it. So I like to use 2 on the larger one and 1 on the smaller one. Now when you get to the bottom, you're just simply going to cut off any extra that you don't need, and then you're just going to wrap it around nice and tight at the bottom and hot glue it into place. Now at this point, it really is up to you what you want to do. You could put some fake snow on it. Now I've decided for myself, because I love that country charm Christmas look where it's traditional green and red. So I'm going to take this berry garland and I'm just going to simply coil it all the way down. And I'm not doing it super tight because I don't want it getting lost in the greenery. I want it to sit lightly at the surface. So I'm just kind of coiling it down like you can see here. And then when I get to the end, I'm just going to tie it into place. Now again, we could stop here. This is really cute. Or we could take it a step further, which I love to do here on my channel. I love to just keep playing with it until it has its own life and its own personality. So I'm going to simply take this bow. This is the easiest bow to make. You're going to zigzag back and forth until you get 4 loops. You'll have 1 in on one side, 1 the other side. You're going to flatten out the ribbon, and then you're going to just simply tie it into a knot. You know, go around the tree through the hole and then pull. So you can see here that I'm just taking that end part with the 2 loops and the end, and I'm going to pull it through, and then I'm going to adjust the ribbon just a little bit,
and then I'll pull it tight. This is the quickest way to get a double looped bow, and it looks beautiful. You would never know. I figured this out a couple years ago, so I thought I would share it today just in case you haven't tried this yet. It's a really fun technique to get a really pretty bow that's nice and full. And then all you gotta do is just fluff your bow out a little bit, kind of zhuzh it, play with it, and then cut it to the length that you want. So at this point, because this is the smaller one, I want the ribbons to be just a little bit smaller. And then of course, I can't resist, I'm gonna add a little wooden star to the top.
This cold December day, on this cold December day.